We now interrupt our normal flow of news so that we may talk about the gorilla in the room. No, wait, it's bigger than that. It's the dinosaur in the room, the national debt. So big, it has become the predator issue that strikes fear in the hearts and minds of citizens from every corner of the country. Today, one group in Arkansas took action. Arkansas's Conservative Caucus announced in next week's state legislative session they're introducing a resolution in support of the National Debt Relief Amendment. Ultimately, this U.S. constitutional amendment would give state legislatures the sole authority to raise the debt. Yes, this was the first step in taking that power away from Congress. State Senator Jason Rapert of Conway was the spokesman, and backed by the caucus, he got emotional as he gave me his reasons for this ambitious project.
I want Arkansas to be the best place to live and work and raise a family in our nation. And when I look at my babies in the eye, and I see my long term and my babies, girls, Grace and Olivia, and I look them in the eye, and I sit here and I see the house is burning down and Dad's not throwing any water on it, that's my motivating factor.
Now, if the legislature says yes to the resolution, Arkansas would be the third state proposing a constitutional convention that would produce the debt relief amendment to the U.S. Constitution. 34 states are needed to make that convention happen. Well, earlier in the morning, I visited Ed's Bakery in Conway, and I sat with the men who get together there daily and solve the problems of the world. Several of these men are war veterans who have no trouble talking about their experiences on the battlefield. But you mentioned the federal deficit, and they all, to a man, wince and shake their heads. So what is it that makes a group of state legislators undertake this gargantuan task of getting a constitutional amendment, or another group of war veterans cower while enjoying coffee and donuts? It's because we can't grasp how big this debt has become, and we see no way out. Well, we have gone to several different sources tonight to help wrap our minds around all this. And the first thing we realized is a calculator does no good. There's not enough zeros. Our first reference, therefore, comes from a viewer email, and it was the starting point for this whole discussion. This is the way the deficit looks to economists and Washingtonians. But if you drop the zeros and turn this into a budget of a family on a modest income, easily see this is what this deficit is all about, how big it got. All right, we got an annual income of $23,000, but our fictional family has already spent $36,000. And on top of that, our little family has borrowed close to another $13,000 just this year. We already owed a whopping $101,000 on our credit card. Our total debt for our little family is $147,000, and that's not good for a family only making $23,000 a year. Also not good, our efforts to fix it. Our family only promised to cut $1,100 off their spending in 2012. So there you go. Does that help, or did we depress you? Our figures were verified, by the way, by Dr. Michael Packo of the UALR Institute of Economic Advancement, and we have a big hole. Like we pointed out last week, it's not our practice to leave you deflated. First, while the debt is bigger than it ever has been, interest rates on it remains low. So the pain of servicing that debt is as easy as it was in 1998. And the Independent Congressional Budget Office is predicting enough growth over the next decade to help bring this back under control. But the biggest advancement needs to come in the country's attitude toward making a change. Arkansas's Conservative Caucus has their plan, and we saw it in the Super Bowl, where Republican Clint Eastwood gave a pep talk to the country entitled, "It's Halftime America." Everyone agrees the challenge is so great, there is no time to waste.
This country can't be knocked. We get right back up again.
Just